This is a podcast from the Queen City Podcast Network.
Art Star is a Sith, and he has very sexy thigh meat.
TBJ is a badass.
Joe is a real man.
Professor Andy likes donuts.
I'm so excited that we got TBJ back.
I know.
Yeah.
Did you guys miss me?
We did.
We
Absolutely.
did.
As you should. As you should. Did you tell people where I've been, or you just pretended
I
did.
think we told them that you were directing a play,
Okay.
and that it was at one point it was Black History Month, so we knew you were probably pretty busy at that point and then it was Women's History Month, so I'm sure you were even more busy for that too.
I've been on some amazing side quests.
Yeah.
I did talk about you all. I did like an Ed Talk, which is like a version of TED Talk with an educator.
Ooh.
And he and I were having a chat, and I talked about our podcast, and he was like, "How cool! I'll go listen now."
Oh, cool.
He did very much like you did, Joe, when you first met me. He did not assume I was cool, and then he kept saying to his wife, "He is actually very cool. We could have been friends." And I was like, "Yeah, we could have been friends all along."
No, I will defend myself and say the opposite. I thought you were cool, but not nerdy.
Well,
you
for
were-
him, nerdy equates cool. So
So
for
you think-
him, he equates nerdy and cool together.
Well,
So that's what he was saying to his wife. Like,
to be
he
fair,
just thought,
it's
I
a
was-
new world now.
yeah,
And
he thought
nerdy
I was
is
just
cool.
like a very respectable lady, which I am.
Yeah.
But he didn't know, and so I talked about you guys while I was off doing that. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's
since I
cool.
left you,
Now
Yeah.
let's say, when we first started this, I don't know that nerdy was necessarily cool. It was maybe becoming cool, but between you
I think
and
for
Art,
us nerds, it's been cool. I think you, as a non-nerd, are just coming to terms where it is.
I think nerd is now cool, and I think you guys helped usher that in by being
Possibly. Although it's starting to come around, like the MCU backlash is here, I think. And it's kind of everyone's like, okay, you had a really good ending with Endgame there. I don't know what you're doing. But then movies like this, Wakanda Forever, come out and say there's still a lot to be said
Yes.
using these characters in this world.
Yeah.
And I hadn't watched this. I watched this today. I hadn't watched it since it came out. It's not your typical breezy MCU entry.
No.
This is not an easy watch because it's
No.
It's Ryan Coogler doing his thing. It's a meditation on grief and anger, and it still hits you right in the heart right at the beginning, just reminding you what we lost with Chadwick Boseman having.
I think, and to your point, the whole world was waiting to see the direction of this movie because we, as fandom and as humans, lost Chadwick Boseman. So I think everyone was waiting to see what the second Wakanda would look like, and how the movie would handle, because the cast was grieving too.
Yeah,
aggressively.
absolutely.
Yeah, sure. Welcome to the Wakanda episode, everybody. Wakanda Forever episode.
Forever.
Black Panther, Wakanda
Oh,
Forever.
it's called Black Panther.
With
Wakanda
lots
Forever.
of tears.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's funny. So when I restarted watching this, and this is the second time I've watched it, right at the beginning, I was like, "Oh shit, I can't remember what happened to Black Panther." I mean, I know in real life Chadwick Boseman died, but I was like, "Did they make a thing of him dying in one of the 9 million movies we watched before this?" So I went back and looked at the internet. I was like, "No, you didn't miss anything." They start off with just something off screen happening.
Yeah, they had to because they didn't even know he was dying until
Right.
Yeah, he kept it a
Yeah.
secret. He kept it undercover
Right.
for a long time.
But I wasn't sure if maybe he died before they made Thor or whatever, and then they just added a CGI Black Panther getting mauled by a bugbear or something.
A
No,
bugbear. They
bugbear.
hadn't started filming this before. I believe so he wasn't a part of filming this at all. I mean, I'm sure he had some ideas or whatever, but this is a whole new thing, and it's unexpected direction, and I think some people were like, okay, Shuri has to take the lead, and I don't think anyone was expecting for it. I don't know if she was up for it, but it worked.
Yeah,
And
there
it's
are reports that she didn't. There are reports. First of all, let's just say she was going through some personal growth and revelation at the time also. She was
yeah,
involved in some church. Um, that's a different conversation, but
yeah.
baby
Uh,
girl was struggling in general with her
What
mhm.
identity. She
what
was.
for those of us who don't know what was that?
I can't remember the name of the church, but I don't, unless you've ever been new to Christianity, there's this thing where people go in and they go in whole hog, right?
Yeah.
And without research, because that's a lot of Christianity, right? This pastor said this, and so it must be true. And before anyone comes with me, I studied New Testament history and Old Testament history in college. I don't need a lecture from anybody. I the note. And so she leaned into that a lot, and all these things were wrong. And there's a lot of conversation around sexuality and a lot of things she was saying that were a little like, are you
Phobic.
sure you want to say that, girl? So
Yeah, there
this,
was some anti-vax stuff in there too.
yeah.
Letitia Wright.
Yep. So this is all happening at the same time.
Right.
So a part of the hesitation was, can she be a role model, right, in this role without being controversial? And from her personally, she's like, I can't step into his shoes. Those are big shoes to fill. So there was a lot of questions early on about, for sure, could Shuri do it?
Yeah, because she was brought on mostly as the tech genius, comic relief kind of little sister type.
Yeah.
She was always cracking jokes in the first one, and she was good, but I think there was a lot of uncertainty as to whether or not she could. Well, one, we didn't know exactly what this movie was going to look like or how they were going to deal with it. Um, like there's a lot of discussion. Should you just recast T'Challa rather than kill him off in the universe?
Uh-huh.
Would it be a better honor to do that, to continue the character that he started, or would it be like what it was, which was, we're all gonna grieve together about the loss of this man, and then deal with loss and deal with anger, and use it to tell a story that you don't usually get. And it's almost 3 hours, right? And
Yep.
it's a lot to get through. There's a lot of emotional drama, and it's sort of like it's as much as there is the fantastical stuff with Namor and everything, and underwater people, it's dealing with the characters as characters in their inner life much more than a lot of the other films are. I mean, a lot of it's, there's the adventure. It's like, how do you defeat the villain? All that. This is a lot of like Shuri's real emotional journey through a lot of loss, maturing her more than she wants to, more than she's ready to. Um, M'Baku has a great point later in the end. I don't know if we're going to go through point by point, where, she throws back he comes to her sort of after
Asking
everything
for
goes down.
advice.
Yeah. And she's like, oh, what do you care about a child who scoffs at tradition? Which is what was a big line of his in the first film. And he's like, too much has been taken from you for you to be still considered a child, which is, it's growth, it's struggle through strife, and it makes you feel things, and you understand just the depth of how complicated everything is when you're
Mhm.
trying to juggle the fate of your own people with your desire for revenge or justice, or just to feel right again.
Yeah.
It's Yeah, you're going through a lot with this one, and it makes you feel, and Ryan Coogler's doing a great job, but I'm still probably mad I haven't seen Sinners yet, so I should really get on that.
Um,
I'm surprised by that, Ando.
I've
I mean, you've been busy.
I've been very busy. I've slacked off a lot on my pop culture keeping up. I'm behind on the MCU as well. So
Spoiler alert: Michael B. Jordan's in it.
Yeah.
There's very little Ryan Coogler will do without a Michael B. Jordan.
Is that right? Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, it was, and his appearance in this film is a good surprise that you don't expect.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember being in the theater when this originally came out, and all the audible noises of everyone when he reappears. Not only him, but we'll get to Angela Bassett's character in a moment.
Yes.
Like, there are audible responses to both in a way that it felt really good to be in the theater. Like you said, Andy, I love your wording. It was a meditation in grief, but it made you think outside yourself while watching an MCU. Who knew that you could watch a Marvel movie and get introspective inside your soul? But it also felt really good being in the theater with everyone, knowing that we were all walking kind of on this grief journey, right? And we're all emotionally invested to see what happens. And so the audible response when he reappears, when all the things are happening, it was like, oh. And secretly, I just love to see a Michael B. Jordan pop up wherever.
Yeah. and he's used perfectly. It's an absolute, like, he is the representative of where her head is at. And it helps her know where she does not want it to be. But because, she's fine with where she's dead set until she realizes where I am is where he was. And I need to decide whether or not that's where I want to be. And she's, ashamed of it. She comes out of it and they say, who did you see? And she won't tell anybody.
Yeah.
And insisting on the science thing that, it's none of it's real.
Why do you think she's ashamed of it?
Because of what he did in the first film, how he tried to pervert Wakanda to his own goal, his own thirst for revenge, and nearly brought them to war with the world.
But why do you think she's ashamed of seeing Killmonger and not seeing her mother or some other ancestor?
Because of how he is viewed and how she has viewed him.
Yeah.
And to be told by the ancestral plane that this is the ancestor you need to hear from right now has got to be a mind fuck.
Because you're going in expecting a wise and elderly ancestor, like you said, your dad, your mom, your brother.
Yeah.
But she also gets mad at that they abandoned her. She says, my mother wasn't there, my brother wasn't there, they left me.
Yeah,
but that's grief in a nutshell, right?
Yeah, I guess you're right.
There's, as much as you love someone, it does feel like an abandonment. If you're the one left behind, if you're the survivor of something, there's that deep feeling of, while I am sad and I love them, I am also angry because I am here. And then here I am getting a second chance to go off and meet an ancestor, and they don't show up there either. Like, I don't blame her.
Although Ramonda does come around at the very end to save her soul, kind of. Even if it's just a thought in her mind, or.
And that's why I was saying, why do you feel it? Like, to me, in that moment, like, I felt like one of the reasons she saw him was because she was dealing with that rage, and I don't think it's shameful to feel rage when you felt like you've been abandoned. It's like, and we've been jumping basically almost towards the end of this movie.
Yeah.
But like, in that moment, when she undertook this thing, it's like, that's who showed up. Cause like, that's what she was feeling. So we see towards the end how she comes to grip with that. So like, for me personally, I don't necessarily think she was feeling shame. If anything, it was still probably hurt more so than shame for her.
Right. Shame is an element. Like, she would have like probably told Nakia like this is who I saw. What does this mean or something like that? But repeatedly, who did you see? Who did you see? And she will not say uh, because what. She's probably I don't know. Shame is an element. I'm not saying it's all shame, but shame. And there's rage, and that is the person to help her is trying to direct her rage in a different area, and she's got to figure out if that's the way she wants to go with it. There's a lot there. It's a real complex
Hey,
bit of
listen, and I gotta want first off, um, I I recently have had the privilege and pleasure to begin therapy, which to my therapist, I've thanked TBJ as one of the
Look at
people who kind
that.
of edged me and gave me, I don't want to say edge, I should have said edge, but pushed
Yeah.
me to like giving me that extra push into, seeking therapy, but then also just in, having discussions with my therapist and talking about dealing with feelings and grief and things like that. So it's like a lot of words that we tend to use, which we kind of give like negative connotations, sometimes don't necessarily, they're not necessarily bad things, right?
Mhm.
Because it's like it's one of those ways of dealing with your feelings in that moment. So I don't know. I guess like the way like just watching this again, like I feel I feel more for the choices that she had to make and the things that she was like even when she's talking to Killmonger and like the fire starts going up the wall, like and then when um what's her name? When man, I'm spacing. When she's asking her who
Nakia.
did she see, like in that moment, like I definitely didn't see any shame. To me, it was just one of those things where it's like she was having this internal struggle of like she probably wouldn't have gotten if she would have said, "Hey, I saw Killmonger." Like even when she's sitting there making that choice on whether or not she spares Namor's life. When we have the scenes where everything's playing back and forth, when she does see her mother, like that's like a thing where, to me, it's almost like this sort of like an epiphany, or sort of like this, like her heart's, like she finally gets it. So she was having like this whole internal struggle, um, where I don't know. She's she was starting to have her grief free up a little bit, if that makes any sense. And then when she gets to Haiti, again, I'm jumping, like just having that kind of release, and then the end credits sing the kind of release. It's almost like, and then the song, like so everything to me, she had like this full circle moment where she had her grief fill her with rage that she was trying to find ways to release that rage, which she kind of sort of got when she had a fight with Namor. She I don't know. It's hard to explain. I'm gonna stop talking because I feel like I'm getting us off track
No,
here.
I know
And
what
then
you're saying. It's
I'm also kind of like having my moment as well, and we're reviewing we want Wakanda Forever.
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Congratulations on going into
That's valid.
therapy,
Yeah.
and that works. It's the whole journey, and
Mm.
at the end, she is out of the other side of grief
Yeah.
and recognizing the value of the silly rituals her mother would explain to her, and she was like scoffing them and boo-hooing them, scoffing at tradition. Um, but
But understanding what they are. And I think the
right,
movie does a really good job because grief isn't linear. It's not
yeah.
A, B, C, right?
Mhm.
Um, there are stages to it for a reason, and you don't always hit them all at once. So the movie does a really good job of walking us through that while in the middle of conflict, because it is a Marvel movie. So there has to be conflict, and handling it delicately. But one, I'm gonna just pause to make sure everyone heard that art is a
Oh
therapy.
boy. Okay.
And
I thought...
PPJ, I'm a big contributor to getting him there. I just want that on record because he's always talking about pulling me to the dark side. Just want to note, the dark side aren't going to therapist. The Siths aren't going to therapy. All right, I hate to break it to you. That's all. I just had to give that sidebar.
Part of why they're the Sith, I guess.
Well, he's going to quit therapy now. They told him that.
No, he's not. It's been too valuable. It's been too valuable, and he knows it.
Yeah. I think Anakin Skywalker could have used a little grief counseling.
Heck yeah, child. All those dudes. I need them all. But yeah, I think one, I know we're talking about grief and all that, but can we just also shout out the cinematographer for this dang on movie? How beautifully it is shot, how gorgeous.
Yeah.
Can I pick something apart though while I'm thinking about it?
Go ahead.
Because I had a Joe moment.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
You got
that sounds dangerous.
Never mind. I'll stop.
So my Joe moment was, I'm sitting there watching this movie, and I've seen this movie a lot of times. I've also watched both Aquaman movies, right? It started to bother me that they're, and I get it. Because like if I'm reading a comic book, it doesn't, I don't say like, well, why not? Why is this, how is this possible? But they're underwater, and they're talking. There are no bubbles. Where are the fucking bubbles? But then there's this part where it's like you see them underwater and there are bubbles coming out. I'm like, okay. So I'm like, wait a minute. Maybe it's just the thing and it's not that big of a deal. So then I said, well, I gotta do this. Let me go on YouTube and look up a fight scene in Aquaman. So I went to look up a fight scene in Aquaman. Okay. Let me look at another fight scene. Or then I found a scene from Aquaman 2 where you see Nicole Kidman and I forget the lady who plays Mira. They're like on these what you call it, thingamajigs. These whatever these shark-shaped ships or whatever. And they're talking about going to, and I'm like, their mouths are moving. I said, yes, mouths. Their mouths are moving, but there are no bubbles coming out. And they're like underwater. And my mind is like, so like for instance, like I'm watching Invincible, right? Invincible is an animated cartoon. They're in space, right? There's this alien named Alan. He's communicating with everyone in space. And everyone in space, the way they're communicating is through telepathy. Because if they're in space, if they open their mouth, they're going to die. Or they're in just space atmosphere. But these people are underwater. And like, I want to see water bubbles or something. Like, it was like one of those things where like, what would Joe think if Joe really sat there and broke this apart in this movie? Like, why were they able to talk underwater and there was no bubbles? Yet, people like the part where, I don't know, but anyhow.
Atlantean physiology, man. It's all different.
I just love that you had, by Joe moment, you mean overthinking so many things that you take away the magic of the movie.
Right. Because it was a great movie, but in that moment, it's just like, wait, how are they talking underwater and there's no, like
but the fact that even crossed your mind is amazing to me, because Tootie, didn't even pause to think. I suspended all imagination. It was just like, yeah, I guess that's just what happens underwater.
Well, they're breathing through the gills and not breathing through their mouths, right? So they're just...
Who has gills?
The Atlanteans. Or they had like the Atlanteans are doing that,
Yeah, and I
right?
thought your Joe moment was going to be that you slam dunked a basketball and in the All-Star
Yeah.
game in the
No,
NBA,
no.
and
Joe moment is
NBA scouts looking for you.
No,
and she-
Joe, a Joe moment would be overthinking something that
right,
can be explained away by
right.
magic.
I think the
Movie
Joe moment would
magic.
be, being recognized as a supermodel, a male supermodel.
I think
Not
I even
quite,
mentioned the
not
Joe
quite it,
moment
Joe.
a long time ago when we talked about the whole introduction of Namor and his wings on his feet and the way he was flying across the sky. But let's
Yeah, I
continue
did
on with
have
the movie.
notes about that. I was like, I wanted to ask Andy, like, number one, did he fly in the comic books? And
Yeah.
was he a bad guy? I always thought he was a good guy. I thought he was an Avenger.
He was well, all right, let me get into
Let's get that
the
history of
He's
yeah.
Namor.
basically
Go to the
Magneto.
history.
He's kind of Magneto-ish. There's a
Oh,
history of Namor. Namor was one of the first Marvel comic superheroes ever. He was in Marvel Comics #1 in 1939, created by Bill Everett, which was Marvel Comics as an entity was still Timely Comics at the time, but the title of the book was Marvel Comics #1. It was an anthology. It had the original Android version of the Human Torch, and it had Namor, the Submariner, um, or Submariner, however you want to say it. The Mariner is like another name for a sailor. The Submariner, he's underwater. That was the
Seattle
joke.
Mariners.
Yeah, etc. So, in his history was a bit different than Ryan Coogler kind of merged. He was Namor originally is from straight up the mythical undersea city of Atlantis, just like Aquaman. Although this predates Aquaman. Um, his father was a sea captain named Leonard Mackenzie, so his real last name was Mackenzie. But his mother was an Atlantean princess, and Namor, the name there, translates to avenging sun in the comic books. But I really like what they did with it in the film here. They sort of took it away from Atlantis and used the Aztec mythology of Tl'Chok, which is uh, really interesting and different. But he Namor was very white. He he was always running around in green speedos, and he had those little wings on his ankles. I don't think they were necessary for him to fly. But even like early on, he was presented as a mutant as well, because all the Atlanteans were blue skinned and he was not. He started as kind of back and forth between wanting revenge on the surface world, or wanted to, for or just wanting to take over the surface world, and also, but he eventually joined the uh, Captain America and stuff, fighting the Nazis. He worked with the Allies, doing a lot of World War II fighting, and then um, he kind of went away for a while at the end of World War II because superhero comics stopped being popular for a while. He popped back up in the 50s, and then again um, later. And then he came into Marvel Comics proper during Fantastic Four #4 in 1962. And he was kind of uh, amnesiac for a while, but then he got super angry when he realized he got his memories back, and he realized that Atlantis was destroyed due to nuclear testing, which is a big thing at the time. So he was very complex then too. He's like the surface world cannot be trusted. I hate them, but they need to be wiped out. But he also had really strong bonds with people like Captain America, and he was in love with Susan Storm and always trying to steal her from Mr. Fantastic, which is another thing. So he was always back and forth. He could fill whatever role you needed him to. He could be the villain. He'd allied with Doctor Doom. But he was also one of the Avengers. He was in 1971. They created this sort of B team called the Defenders, which is not the Luke Cage, uh, Jessica Jones, Daredevil crew that we got with Netflix, but the original crew was just Namor, the Hulk, Silver Surfer, and Doctor Strange. Like all three not great team. They're not very good on a team because they generally work solo and they're always butting heads. And especially with Namor, because he is super stubborn and super pompous a lot of the time. And he was always getting angry with the Hulk and smacking him around, and they were smacking each other around and stuff like that. It was fun. The Namor was not as old as the film's Namor is, because I think the film's Namor was born in 1571. Namor was like just the early 20th century, but he was still living a longer time. And he looks like in the comics, he looks like a block-headed Vulcan. Really, he's got these really pointed eyebrows and the pointy ears, and he's always almost naked. But there was also another bit that they more recently they sort of played up the fact that he's a mutant, which is something they've like even in the early X-Men comics, they tried to recruit him into the X-Men. They never really got him in, but more recently, within the last 15 years or so, he kind of joined the X-Men for a while, and he got possessed by the Phoenix Force, and he actually went apeshit and flooded Wakanda in the comics, and that happens here in this movie as well. So that's an interesting thing, and it led to a real intense animosity between Namor and T'Challa, and they used to be pals, but
Okay.
not so much
And they
anymore.
also supposedly that was some of the basis for this movie was that comic run where he flooded Wakanda.
Yeah, there was this storyline called the Phoenix Five. Usually the Phoenix Force comes and possesses Jean Grey and makes her go crazy. The Dark Phoenix Saga is a big famous X-Men story. It's some weird cosmic firebird entity thing that kind of possesses you and amps up your powers to infinity levels and also drives you nuts. And this time it was split between five people. Namor was one of them. They tried to take over the world, I think, and they were trying to hunt the Avengers, and Wakanda was hiding them. And Namor was all pissed about it and viewed it as an affront. And he was also, Phoenix forced out. So the Phoenix Force tends to fuck with your mind. So he might not normally have gone apeshit and flooded Wakanda completely, but he did there, and that left a lot of scars. So it was interesting to see that put into this. And then of the other couple of Atlanteans we get names for, there's Namora, who was originally created in 1947 and was his cousin. Not initially his cousin. They sort of, in the original books, they sort of implied maybe they had a romantic relationship, but at some point they said, no, they're cousins. And she was created by Ken Bald and Sid Shores, 1947, Marvel Mystery Comics number 82. But Namor's creator, Bill Everett, designed her costume, which was a little black mini dress or whatever. Her real original name was Aquaria Nautica Neptunia. Like just throw every anything water related into her name. It's kind of silly. And she was dead for a while, and then she came back in this series called Agents of Atlas, which was initially a comic series about a group of old-timey heroes from like the 50s Atlas comics, that right before Marvel, with characters like Gorilla Man and M11, the human robot, and Jimmy Woo, actually, who played by Randall Park in the Ant-Man movies. But now more recently, it's become basically Agents of Atlas or a super team of Asian characters like Shang-Chi. And then the other guy, the big tough dude that Okoye fights, is Atuma, who was created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, Fantastic Four number 33, 1964, who was basically just an arch enemy of Namor, who's always trying to conquer Atlantis.
Oh, so he's an enemy then instead of an ally.
He's like Ocean Master or Black Manta in DC.
Yeah, kind of. He's just like the guy who's always trying to take over Atlantis, and
I did
fight.
read something about how Marvel decided to make Namor Mayan rather than Atlantis because of Aquaman already
Could
being
be.
out.
Yeah, probably.
They didn't want to. They felt like they didn't want to compete for Atlantis or something. So they just
Yeah,
made
they're
him buy it, which
but it's a good take because the Talokan is what they call it instead of Atlantis, and I just did a really brief look into what that actually was about, and apparently it's one of the Aztecs' 13 heavens. It's kind of like a paradise, but it's also kind of a heaven reserved for those who have drowned or died from some other manifestations of water, like storm or flooding or things like that.
oh, that's cool.
So it kind of works that way. And of course, there's also another new character that we get in this film, Riri Williams, who was created in 2016.
Yay, Riri.
Yeah, Invincible Iron Man #7 by Brian Michael Bendis and Mike Diodato. And it's interesting when she was first designed. TBJ, I don't know if do you know the actress Sky Jackson?
Yes, I do, of course.
Yes, she was apparently the original inspiration for the initial look of Riri Williams in the comics. It's
Which is very interesting if you knew. I get the vibe. I could understand the inspiration, but if you saw Sky Jackson and you see now, you're like, no.
yeah, it's interesting that she didn't get the part of the character she inspired.
Right?
But
It feels like that should have been an automatic. Here you go,
Yeah.
friend. Because I appreciate her, but she is not booked and busy. So
Right, but
I know Sky Jackson. My daughter watched that.
I was
those
gonna
shows.
ask you, is it through your daughter?
Yeah, I googled her. I
Yeah.
was like, she's funny actually. She's pretty funny.
She is, but now think of that role, and you're like, no.
No, yeah, definitely not that. But
Yeah.
yeah, her thing is like her stuff is pretty accurate, especially if you watch the Ironheart series as well. It seems to be, I mean, created in 2016. They're ready for their origins. Don't really need to be changed at all from the comics at that point, really. Although with Tony Stark being uh, she basically reversed engineers an Iron Man suit, goes by the name Ironheart. And Tony Stark hears about her, met her, and tries to get her set up, and even gave her like an AI version of himself to kind of coach her into being a hero or whatever. So
I have to say, I watched that whole Ironheart series, which I loved, but I gotta say I liked this better after watching that and knowing Riri's character arc, and then watching her
did you
again.
watch the series before you watched this movie?
No, I watched this a while ago.
Okay.
This originally, and I was like, okay, you know how I need to watch everything 3 times to get it all. So, but
We know.
there was just so many characters, and I was kind of like, oh, what is this, and what's Ironheart? And then after watching Ironheart the series, which I really really liked, I just liked I guess I like more contemporary stuff in Chicago. Chicago was home for a while, so it's like,
And you feel connected to it.
I felt really,
yeah.
really connected to all the characters, and it felt like something that could happen in my neighborhood, and
Yeah.
and then and Riri, like, really like her character. I see where she goes, and that, spoiler alert, leaves a horrible cliffhanger that you don't know what's going to happen.
So when you're watching Wakanda Forever, right?
About it together.
When
so
you're
then
watching,
when I rewatch Wakanda Forever, I liked it way better because I was already into Riri. Now I was way more into Riri than I was the first time.
so when she was doing her little talking about, like, when she was she was talking about the car, did you like automatically be like, oh,
yep,
her dad?
Yeah.
Or like when they was in the dorm room at MIT,
yep,
you just noticed the Chicago flag on the wall. You're like, oh, the Chicago flag on the wall from the shot.
Yeah, although I did kind of think that's a Chicago police flag, and I don't know that she'd be into that.
Chicago,
well, it depends on your family. You might have
that's
family
true.
in it.
That's
and
true.
You might be in it. But I think there's a word, I don't know what you call it in movies, but in reading, it's magical realism, right? It's the magic that happens inside of real life. So we could be going through our day-to-day life and somebody might have a superpower. But it's not overly done. Like, I get what you're saying. It feels like it could be your real life every day with a little side of something, but nothing crazy. We're not having an all-out Avengers battle in the middle of the city and trying to figure out who's about to rebuild this damn city.
Yeah. There's something about seeing neighborhoods you've been in and recognize,
yeah,
in the MCU that's like, oh yeah, this is real, like, and it's like they're, I guess, not that I'm young, but they're younger, they're not, they're
We
like,
are young, Joe. Shh.
I'm not
We are
compared to them.
very
I'm
young.
I'm probably closer to, what's his name, Robert Downey Jr.'s age than hers, but but I was young once, but I think also just like class level too. It's like,
Yeah.
you only relate so much to super rich people, but when people are regular people, you kind of relate a little more to them too, like neighborhood people. But then
Yeah.
I will say during this one, rewatching this, when she, when she goes through the underwater world and is fighting all this stuff, and I was like, wait a minute, so does she seem like somebody who's been through all this in the show? Like, because this is a lot.
And see, that right there is like your Joe moment.
Yeah.
That's what
That's my Joe
classic
moment.
example of Joe moment.
See, I wouldn't even think about it. I'd be like, makes sense. You're ready for anything. Okay.
Yeah.
If you're ready to roll, you're just ready to roll and you roll with it.
Yeah.
Like if I had to go under and have a battle today, is Tiffany ready? As ready as she's ever gonna be. You wouldn't know I ain't never battled underwater before.
But that's what I feel like, like in the series, she's already been through everything in the world. So what would surprise? Why is she like, oh my God, look at all this. Oh my God. Like, oh my God,
Right.
nothing. You've already been through everything crazy. But then again, it's a movie and we're all watching it and we're observers type of thing. So,
but I do think that I like what you said. I mean, we're obviously coming into the contemporary era of a lot of the comics and the movies.
yeah.
Which I appreciate as a woman, because I don't have to spend time fighting you and telling you why it's misogynistic for certain things to happen. So I do appreciate this move in contemporary
New era.
Yeah, it's like one of the most, a 10-year-old character and
yeah,
it's 80-year-old character with Namor.
Yeah, I don't have to hold my breath and be like, is this gonna be toxic? If they were just created 2 minutes ago, because whatever comic book writer was writing them 2 minutes ago knows better. Hopefully.
Yes.
Unless they're men, because sometimes y'all don't be knowing better. And that's a different conversation.
Some folks don't know. Yeah. It's not a guarantee, but it's a lot more likely that it's going to be less problematic.
But in the last 10 years, writing rooms have become more diverse, and that is gender, that is race, that is culture. So it's like, I have more hope if a character was created in the last decade versus when you tell me it was from 1952, and I'm like, ugh. And then you're like, when you just said, oh, she had all the Aqua names and the little tiny black dress. Why the hell is she in a tiny black dress?
Namor is just wearing Speedos, so he's almost naked. So they covered her up more than Namor. Although Namor eventually got kind of his own little black costume in the 70s, where he had this. They said, what, we should probably just put some pants on him. So they put like black pants on him and a cool black vest. And I was like, that's not a bad look. And he goes back to that sometimes, rather than just seeing this freaking naked dude.
I mean, but I will now note, it makes sense for him kind of a little bit to be semi-naked, right? He's in the water, right?
Yeah.
Versus 90% of the women they created who were just like tits and ass out. And I was like, how's she saving the world? Girl is bouncing everywhere. It is hard to balance. And it was like, there was no thought really behind it. Because it's like, yeah, she might be wearing pants, but she's also wearing a top that's a bra, essentially. Like, let's think about it.
Right.
So,
she's at least, Namora is at least, it's a full, it's a little low cut, but it's not like,
it's not crazy like,
and it's got like kind of a high collar, and it looks more like she's wearing little black shorts as opposed to a skirt, but it's all like a one piece thing. So we've seen a lot worse than Namora.
We have.
Although, Namora's a weird story. Like, she had a daughter named Namorita that was on like the New Warriors and stuff, but it turned out to be it was secretly her clone, a younger clone, but she had to hide that because Atlantis doesn't like cloning. Anyway, there's a lot of weird storylines.
I'm gonna get a job at Marvel just to name characters.
I wish you would.
but I just want to name them, and then you have to come to my office and show me what they're wearing, and I have to be like, yes, no, please tell your 12-year-old self, no, no, that's not what women wear. Like that's what I want my whole job. So Marvel, if you're listening, we still want to come to
Yeah.
things as a podcast crew, but I
Right.
also just want a job in the office to be like, and her name is something that makes sense. One,
Yeah.
two, yes, no, maybe.
Do you
I
think
That's
that
mean,
job exists, or do you think that
it
person
should.
or do
Andy
you
just gave us 10 names for this one person that
right?
don't make sense other than they all have to do with water. Somebody was like, yeah, that's it.
I just
Cool.
wonder if somebody has just that job, or if that job belongs to someone who has like 9 other jobs.
You know good and
oh,
well if
bro,
you've
yeah.
read enough or seen enough that no one's checking some of them on these things. Some people are
Yeah,
like,
right.
Or they're picking their
backtrack.
battles. Their
Yeah.
editors have a lot to juggle
Yeah.
in comics, so they're like, all right,
They're like,
don't
is
don't know.
that's the name you want to go with? Okay, cool, cool, cool,
Yeah.
cool, cool. Are you gonna make deadline? Let's really
Like,
let's
Yeah.
what do you think this will fit between the 16 to 24 demographic? You think they'll like this name? What if we name her Boobsy McGee? You think
see,
they'll
and
like
that's where
that?
I come in and be like, sir, would you like it if I called your mom Boobsy McGee? No? Okay. Then we're
Yeah,
not naming her Boobsy McGee. I don't care how fabulous her boobs are.
yeah, we need this to appeal to the accounting class, the accountants
They
of the
will
world.
call him Arithmeticera.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if it's not a job, it should be a job and it should be mine. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think Namor, some reason that name was it Roman spelled backwards, so I think he's supposed to be this kind
Oh,
of
His makes
emperor
a
type.
little sense. And it does sound like um and to everyone's credit, the characters in Black Panther in general have great, like whoever wrote an OG Black Panther thought about names,
Hmm.
thankfully.
Yeah,
And Neymar makes sense a little bit because it's like it still sounds like quite magical or other, right?
right,
Enough without being like that's kind of ridiculous.
right.
What I
And
appreciate about Black Panther in general, there's so much of their name and language that is rooted in something else. Like someone did some research, and I'm like, hell yeah, research.
yeah, I mean, I don't know if Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, when they initially created him, did a whole lot,
No, we
but
know he did not.
I
No.
mean, Kirby is a lot more about that, I think, just getting into stuff.
Yeah.
But there's been some creators since, like Don McGregor, I know, did a lot of interesting stuff building Wakanda.
Yeah.
Um, but as far as I really like what they did with Namor's name in this, just call him like Seen Namor without love, and he took that as he has no love for the surface world. That's what like the slave master he was murdering said. There's Nino Sin Amor, or child without love, and that's where he took the name from. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
he was like, you know
that's
what?
good.
Bet I'll take it.
Yeah. And then why the other person is named Namora, I don't know, but that's a story for another time. But the interesting thing, like with Namor, is that like he's he's this he's the prince of Atlantis, and eventually Atlantis is not entirely destroyed. There is an undersea society that he does rule, and he's loved and appreciated, but he's also this, if you need a character, a hero, or someone with at least a noble bent. Like he spent some time finding undersea treasures, selling them, and forming a corporation bent on fighting pollution and stuff and cleaning up the oceans and things like that. So he's got this noble streak, but he's also got this huge asshole streak. If you need one of your heroes to say something shitty to somebody, or to get in a fight, or to push the action in, this guy will do it because he's a dick. He's got like a Quicksilver energy, has the same kind of thing. Pietro Maximoff, he's an Avenger, he's a good guy, but he's also a complete dick. And so he does not uh, hold back his opinions. So they've they subdued his sort of obnoxious arrogance in this film, but it's still there sometimes, and you can see him functioning as a ruler and thinking ahead of the game, especially with how it all goes down. Like when they conclude the fight at the end, you're sort of like, it seemed a little. I don't know if that is a feels great as a resolution, but then given how complex the interplay was before, but then his little explanation at the end is like, all right, this will serve our purposes eventually.
I gotta say, at the end, I thought Shuri was dead when she got harpooned or whatever through her back.
Yeah.
And I was like, they're gonna kill Shuri too? Like after Angela Bassett dies and
listen, I would have rioted, but I think Ryan Coogler knew that we had to have some element of but I think he knew if we had one more person in that damn family die.
Yeah. Yeah. I will note about Angela Bassett is holy crap, my wife just brought me pizza and salad. How wonderful.
That's what you have to say about Angela Bassett.
No.
It's like, is Angela Bassett your
you,
wife?
sweetheart.
Is that where we're
No,
going?
no. Angela Bassett is not my wife. My wife is Susie, and she is wonderful.
a lot of people get them mixed
I
up.
adore
Though.
Susie. Yes.
She's also, they're both badass.
They are.
Yes. But I just this film, Black Panther did as well, but this film really shows a lot of times when they were casting the original X-Men, everyone always wanted Angela Bassett to play Storm.
Yes.
And you could see Storm in this. And Storm actually was in the comics at one point the Queen of Wakanda, married to T'Challa.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
and
that's cool.
I have
Didn't
a
know that.
photo from one of the cons. One of the artists drew them as a couple for me.
Oh,
I think
cool.
it's our first con. Yeah.
And it's a really interesting couple. Like they established something like a backup story in I think I don't know the 70s or 80s or something that they knew each other as kids because Storm
Okay.
grew up in on the streets of Cairo.
I feel like the comics drew Storm a lot to kind of look like Angela Bassett. Like I felt like
Oh yeah, for a while they did because that was like every dream casting was
everybody
it's got to be Storm.
Yeah, everybody
And
thought her. Yeah,
I
so
mean,
I
do you
thought, yeah.
remember Angela Bassett's arms alone?
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
badass.
Them
So
arms.
I'm gonna
badass,
guess when they made the first X-Men movie, it was like, and you can tell it's kind of like shoestring. They're like, I don't know if this is gonna work. No one had a lot of faith in it, but we're gonna try it because the X-Men have been popular throughout the '90s. But I'm gonna bet they could with who, Hugh Jackman. No one knew who he was, and Patrick Stewart was kind of the selling point. But I bet they couldn't get her. I was
couldn't
gonna
afford her.
guess
Yeah.
at that point because
She would have no buy-in. Like she's
Right.
been killing it in the game. Underrated for some people. By some
Yeah.
people, I do mean you palm-colored people. Most people color very aware of Angela Bassett. No, I'm serious. There was this whole
Yeah.
quiz. I think I was talking to someone. They were like, "Who is she?" And I was like, "Where have you been? Angela's like the mother of everybody, and also will make you cry in 2 seconds." I don't know what you've been
Yeah.
watching in your childhood, but I was watching Angela. But I do think the timing of her taking this role when she took it and like the heart in this role is perfect for her, but getting to see her fight a bit, it's also like, yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it just makes you think of what could have been. I mean, I don't think I don't want to knock Halle Berry too much because I think the big knock on her in the first film was that one line, "What happens to a toad when it's struck by lightning? The same thing that happens to everything else." Which I think could have been a good line with a better delivery or direction, but
Yeah, but I don't blame Halle for that. That's the
no.
director's job to be like,
Yeah.
let's
But
try it again.
yeah, Halle didn't feel like she had the heritage of the character.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yes.
it was like, she was raised in Atlanta or something like that, as opposed to and having grown up in Africa, worshipped as a goddess because she could control the weather.
So you're
Right.
gonna be pissed if she shows up?
No, not at all. But it just like makes you think Angela Bassett would have made a great goddamn Storm in those first movies.
Oh, 100%.
But
There's not a role that you tell me Angela Bassett can't do. And
Right.
I'm honest to God, even now she's gotten older, you still tell me she would roll it back and play. I'd be like, yeah, she
Yeah.
can. The legit, it ain't there is nothing like nothing. I'm thinking hard. I'm like, what can't Angela do?
Yeah, she's got it all.
What's her
I
greatest?
think if
What's her
people
greatest
gave her
role?
the right
Tina Turner, probably.
Tina
What's love got to do with it?
Turner, I do.
I'm asking
Nostalgia for
TBJ to
me.
be fair.
I know. I'm thinking.
Fair enough.
Tina Turner, I think, gave her more range than people had anticipated she had. Um, yeah, I don't know if it's her greatest, but maybe it was. Like she plays Michael Jackson's mother in the whatchamacallit. She is Waiting to Exhale.
Oh, and the whatchamacallit? They made a
Strong.
movie about the candy bar?
Yeah, totally.
Whatchamacallit?
It
No,
was the
when
best
she's
movie ever.
I love
I
whatchamacallits.
have a lot of heart for her in Waiting to Exhale. I swear to God, when she blows up, when she starts the fire in her husband's car, he deserves it. I'm like, hell yeah, I will ride for Angela Bassett till the day I die. That's probably the first thing I remember seeing her in my teenage years. And I was
Would
like,
you would she be somebody if you met her in person you would get starstruck and have trouble talking type of thing?
I don't get starstruck in general. I think internally I'd be like, oh my God. But because I am a lady of class, uh, no, I do think it's hard for me to be utterly awestruck on the outside. Like I will go home and tell my family, like, oh my God, guess who I met? And it was amazing. But in front of them, I just be like, oh my God, I love your work. It's so fantastic. And then I will go about my day. Like that's just who I am as a human.
Yeah.
I can give you your flowers without going goo goo gaga, even Beyonce. Um, I just be like,
Beyonce,
I love you so much, and
you
then I
think she's
go about my
good?
day.
I like those Betty Shabazz.
Did you ask me if I think Beyonce is good?
Yeah.
Joe, we haven't had a fight in a long time, but we can have one now. But no, I think Angela Bassett, I want to see a movie where Angela Bassett and Viola Davis
Oh yeah.
playing it together. That's what I want to see.
Have they not been anything together?
Mm-mm.
What if they did like
Angela's been on TV the last few years.
a gender swapped Bad Boys with Angela Bassett and Viola Davis?
I don't need all the action, but if you put them on a thriller drama where they're solving some shit, like something's going down, because she's been playing a cop right now on.
What about redo the
Yeah.
Thriller, the Michael Jackson Thriller video?
But if you do not that kind of thriller, if you do one of those like suspense intense where they both play and they're solving shit, I'm in. I'm locked in like nobody's business. And whoever writes it has to be real good because you can't waste those two, right? But I want to see those two in a movie so bad together because I think for me it would be peak Black excellence.
Yeah. Holy cow. That would be, oh man. Viola Davis is so good.
A powerhouse. I don't know. Here, side note, if you haven't read her autobiography, you should.
Amazing.
You should totally read it.
Amazing.
Pretty sure I told Art to read it and he read it.
I actually listened to it by
Yeah,
her.
he told you to do it.
Yes, you did.
Okay, thank you. I just want to make sure you're listening. But no, Andy, if you
Another
find
way
her,
TBJ is bringing art into the light.
I
But
am slowly.
here's the thing. Here's the thing, right? Is she though?
I love your level of denial because again,
Because it's
I'm gonna
not
tell you
denied.
he's not going to therapy.
If
Kylo Ren.
for my Sith fans, and those of us who are watching the new Star Wars Darth Maul show, you understand how the Sith apprentice dynamic works. But continue on.
I am
I was
so
gonna
happy.
say,
I will
yeah.
let you believe that, but I'm
You
telling you.
lull them in, and then
Anyway, this is to Andy.
when they cut your head off, when
Viola
they
Davis
cut your head off and
book,
assassinate you, they rise.
you will
It's
not.
okay. It's okay.
Read Viola Davis's book. I wish Angela Bassett would sit down and write a book. She is not. I think she needs to. But Viola writes a book, and when you learn all that she's come through and have the nerve to be that damn good, you're like, girl, give her angel wings. Like she
Mhm.
is, give her a Nobel Peace Prize. Like when I say she's come from the mud, legit. Her book is so like her childhood is so intense that I had to pause. Like I had to pause and go read a piece of fluff so I can go back to reading it because she had a hard life,
Mhm.
but in a way that you are a lot of people have hard lives, but she has it like it's terrible. Um, but the fact that she comes out, right? She goes to an Ivy League school to act. Hello, theater saves lives, just to know. Um, and then her like progression into work and her mindset around work. It's amazing. So anyway, this is my dear Marvel. If you're listening, if you want to get into intense crime drama, I think you could. I
They
think you
could.
Oh
could.
yeah. Yeah.
Or maybe not Marvel, but Disney, the parent company of Marvel. If you want an intense drama with lots of tears and some badassery,
But Viola's still with DC right now, right? She's Amanda Waller.
yeah, she is. But she can't do that forever. So
Hmm. Sure she
cheers
can.
to
Amanda
Disney.
Waller
Right,
does.
and they can. I mean, they jump. Look at
I
a
mean,
lot
she
of these
could.
people jump from different properties to different properties. They don't,
Yeah,
stick around.
But
that's
if
true.
those
And it's not
two
exclusive.
legit were in a movie together, like I think for a lot of people who did not know Angela Bassett, they should know her. I think Wakanda opened some of their eyes to be like, oh, because it's been a long time since Tina,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And she's done many other roles. She's good in the TV show she's in. Her partner in that show just died. She'd be grieving. She'd be grieving all the time. Damn Angela characters. But if you weren't familiar with her body of work, I think Wakanda, for some people, again, I'm gonna say not typically African Americans,
Mhm.
it clued you in to be like, holy hell, Angela Bassett, we
Yeah,
forgot. We forgot.
but you are there.
And
And
she's like, she is a queen. Like literally, her in that role.
mhm. She's all about it. And Letitia
Who
Wright was
else?
really good.
Yes, she stepped up into this one.
Yeah, yeah. And you felt her. You felt what she was going through.
Yeah. No, in a way, I think everyone in this cast came to work. And I mean that in the not like I came to work because I was paid
We
to come
didn't
to work.
hit
They,
TBJ. I'm surprised.
you're surprised at me for what?
You didn't give us any Winston Duke love.
I mean, I'm always gonna appreciate him. That doesn't go anywhere.
Oh my God. There's one the sequence, I think it was when they're uh like they're kind of figuring out like they're speaking alone after the council elders trying to decide what they're going to do after she
Yeah.
becomes the Black Panther, and there's some bit in there where it almost feels like a comic book in that she is so small, he looks like a
Yep.
fucking mountain
Yeah.
standing there
He
talking to her.
is.
There it's like he's got the big furry thing on as well, so that adds to it, but like she's like a sliver and he is just like almost cartoonishly huge. I'm like, God, M'Baku.
Winston Duke happens to be an alum of Brighton High School in Rochester, New York, home of the
Of course you know
Bruins.
that.
Notable alumni include um uh what's her name? Kristen Wiig. So how about that? He went to
Yeah,
the
I
same
like
high school as
Kristen
Kristen
Wiig.
Wiig.
Okay, I'm sure they
Rochester, New
held
York.
hands and skipped through the halls together.
Even though he was not born in the United States.
Nope, he is not.
But he
He
moved
is
there when he was like 9 or
Trinidadian, I
something.
think, right?
Yeah.
But
He's
my favorite thing is he did not intend to be an actor hardcore. Like he was in college. No, was he in college after college? I don't know what he was doing. He was minding his business and these came up. But he wasn't aggressively seeking out
He's got an older sister
this.
named Cindy.
he's really good in this. And
Actually, they moved to the United States for his older sister to become a, well, I don't know, lawyer or something, or go to a better school.
Yeah, I'm a fan. Like yes, but I can't. I already like Goo Goo Gaga over Michael B. Jordan. If I Goo Goo Gaga over TV and art, men will
Yeah.
start to think that I like them, and we cannot have
Yeah.
that happen.
So he was a big comic book nerd. He hung out at the comic book store like Art Star. Then went to Brighton High School in Rochester, attended the University of Buffalo, got a Bachelor of
They
Arts
went to
degree
Yale.
in theater then, and then he got an MFA at Yale.
Oh,
With who did he go to Yale with? Clue.
Yale School of Drama.
Who did he go with? Here's a
Oh.
clue. It's one of his castmates.
Ooh.
I'm pretty sure they were there at the same time. One of his castmates.
Would it be Lakia?
Okoye?
Nope.
Would it be what's the name of the Letitia Wright?
Nope.
Aneka? I was going to mention. I forgot to.
Henry Winkler.
Lupita? Yeah, Lupita.
Lupita Nyong'o.
Yeah.
Nyong'o.
That's how disconnected I'd been. I started watching this film, and it took me a long time to remember Lupita Nyong'o's name. I was like, oh.
You're like,
Plays
what
Nakia.
is her name?
I know you. I mean, like, I knew she was like, I cannot remember your name. I've been so out of it for a while.
Let's see. She
Yeah.
graduated in 2012. Let's see when he graduated. I can find him.
I'm pretty sure.
Doesn't
It's a
matter.
long list.
I just want to mention before my battery runs out here.
I forgot. You're wrong.
Aneka and Ayo, the members of the Dora Milaje,
Midnight Angels.
Yeah, the Midnight Angels. Those are relatively new characters from 2009. And it's a little queer representation there as well within Wakanda.
Can I call out Ando real quick? I don't want to do this, but I have to. Can I call out Ando?
I've called you out many times. Go ahead.
So Ando recently said that they don't create new characters in comic books anymore.
Oh yeah,
and I want to say that's a lie. That's a lie.
I mean, it's an exaggeration.
An over exaggeration.
No, Andy, it's a lie, and you admit it.
And I would just like to say that it's going to be my mission to bring Ando back into the world of comic books. That is all.
Your mission. So I have a mission to drag you to the light. You have a mission to bring Ando back to comic books.
Right.
Who has a mission for Joe?
Courtney B. Vance does.
Angela's husband. That's a power couple. He's also underrated.
He also went to Yale School of Drama. So boom.
Yeah.
Little trivia for you.
Well, yeah. But listen, he's an underrated man too. In the world of acting. That dude is
Do you
good.
think there was another Courtney Vance in the Actors Union?
Why
so
he had to put the B? Yeah, same
Yeah.
reason Michael B. Jordan has to be Michael B. Jordan.
Well,
You don't have to be famous in the union. If you just have to,
it's
someone
either
has to
that
adjust their name.
or both of them. It's a nod to Coco Beware.
Yeah, no, that's not it. So when
Could
you
be.
register, that's why some people like shift a name here or there, but they kept it simple and just added their middle initial.
What if they're all three related?
Who?
Coco Beware, Michael B. Jordan, and Courtney B. Vance.
I think
the
we
B
would
family.
know. We would know at this point, one, if they were related.
TBJ, could you sing the Bird song by Coco Beware? It's Bird,
No.
Bird.
First of all, I'm never singing anything for anyone.
Do you know who Coco Beware is?
No.
If you knew him, you would say he could get it.
Are you sure? Because there's
Coco
only about
Beware
5% of men that
In his prime.
get it.
He was the Birdman professional wrestler, Coco Beware. His real name is James Williams Ware Jr.
Oh, it's not
So,
Coco B?
But he actually sang his
He
own
could
theme
sing,
song.
yeah. He had a voice.
Yeah, I'm not singing anything. Therefore, no.
Art and I are thinking about getting Coco Beware tattoos on our heinies.
You do that.
I'm going to get the Coco and just get the Beware.
And we're going to walk around pantsless so people can see it.
So a normal Friday night.
A normal Friday.
Is that what that is?
Well, I think we covered this movie pretty good. Is there anything we're forgetting or any?
Sounds
whole-
like
We're forgetting a lot. We're
We
forgetting
did.
a lot.
I feel like we rushed through it.
Right, we did, because we didn't talk about Everett Roth.
Yeah,
We
can
didn't talk about
yeah,
Allegra.
Ross? Yeah, and
Yeah.
Coco, or Julie Louis Dreyfus's character. What's that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that just means we have to come back and talk here.
Venus.
We'll just have to come back, do a speed through of this one.
Yeah,
with
TBJ
those
will
side
do her
characters.
quick through, and we'll.
Now that I am returned to you all until the summer, I will be peaced out again in the summer. Bless y'all.
Where are you going?
So first, just Hilton Head. Then I'm going on a cruise to Alaska, and then I'm going to Ghana.
Holy crap.
Oh, cool.
You don't mess around.
I got things to do. Well, two are personal trips, and one is volunteering. With I'm taking a bunch of high school girls over to Ghana.
Oh, cool.
So,
Do you know
I'm
the high school
excited.
girls, or are you just grabbing random ones?
I've met them on Zoom. They're from all over the United States. They're Girl
Okay.
Scouts. So they have been selected. I was on the final selection, but they were interviewed, they wrote essays why this would be a great trip for them, and it's going to be great. We're going to explore. Maybe I'll find Wakanda maybe I'll venture off and
Bring
That'd
us
be
back
awesome.
some vibranium.
right. Let me see if I end up in a magical place while I veer off that one country and just travel around the continent. I would be fired as a volunteer.
Well, you know what, Art? I'm glad you brought up vibranium because I was going to ask Andy if anybody, if you guys know this, is the whole vibranium thing in underwater. Is that a
There
new thing
was
from MCU, or is that a comic
no
book thing?
there was a thing from, it's not exactly the way it was, but there was like another form of vibranium called Antarctic vibranium. I think it was crashed in the Antarctic, so it was undiscovered for a while, but it had like a unique property to be like to just like dissolve all metals, kind of thing, as opposed to this. But this, they've made vibranium into kind of this catch-all, do anything kind of thing. So
Yeah.
you don't really need to have the specific delineations of what this vibranium does versus that.
Yeah,
but it makes perfect sense. It was a big meteor that hit Wakanda.
Yeah, I think it makes sense too.
It could have easily had other parts of it somewhere else.
Yeah. We don't know what energy is harnessed,
but they don't do a lot of vibranium, I think, because that kind of it is a huge building block of what Wakanda is. So I don't think they want to take away the specialness of Wakanda by making vibranium plentiful. But
think about how many characters from everywhere else go to get vibranium or go utilize the powers of Wakanda.
And they're always trying to steal it, which is interesting because I think they've announced Coogler's coming back for Black Panther 3.
Right.
And they set this up at the end of this is everyone's going to come for Wakanda now. And because they all want that vibranium. And I think, there was a real creepy thing with Everett Ross and Julie Louis-Dreyfus, like when he goes, what do you think America would do if we were the only ones that had vibranium? He's like, I dream of that. It's like, that feels so MAGA Trumpy right now.
Yeah.
And then you got
but I can see Ryan taking that and going somewhere with it.
Yeah. And if the rest of the world versus Wakanda versus the world, I don't know what it's going to be called. But,
aren't we all waiting for Adamantium to go up against?
And the CIA is really big in everything that's going on right now in the MCU. Like literally, because she has her hands in Thunderbolt shit. She has her hands on the street level shit. So Miss Fontaine is everywhere.
Although I gotta wonder if Black Panther 3 will even happen before or after the whole Avengers Doomsday or Avengers Secret War or whatever they got planned, which I feel is going to come.
Who knows? Because what they've been doing is even some of these newer shows that are coming out, they're taking place before and after kind of thing. So it used to be they would be like, okay, this comes after this. This comes after that. Whereas like, if it's like the Daredevil show is happening before, I think it's kind of running concurrently with what happened in Thunderbolts, even though Thunderbolts has already came out. Mm-hmm. So it's one of those things where like some of this stuff is going to now fit back into place in the timeline. Like I've had a comic book discussion with a friend of the show, and like just talking about how once they introduce mutants, which is what's about to happen. Andrew.
Andrew Beck,
Yeah,
friend of the
yeah.
show. Beautiful
Right.
Andrew Beck.
So it's like now what's going to happen is now they're going to just start like, okay, well, mutants either have always been here, which they have because we have Kamala and we have Namor, and whoever else we know. But then like, okay, now you're going to start plugging these people in, and you'll have like that kind of Captain Marvel thing, where it's like, Captain Marvel came out, but it was a movie that was years past what was currently happening, and then we'll have like the fast forward kind of thing, but then also stuff happening in the past that we're watching currently to the future. So it's like this weird, like, you're now going to have to sit and follow the timeline so you don't
think
get
it's
lost.
far off, because remember, Disney has their big reveal of what's coming during the summer, at the end of summer. So we'll have clues by August of what's in the works for the next couple of years.
Right. I just think they're building towards a big reboot of the entire continuity, and whether or not Black Panther 3 will fit in.
Well, the second Avengers movie, I think, is really where you're going to have the biggest, because like even this Spider-Man movie that's coming, I think it's done. From what I've heard and seen, it's kind of getting Pete away from the bigger MCU and kind of grounding him a little bit.
Friendly neighborhood.
Yeah. But then it's also kind of like pushing us away, but then also setting us up to like, okay, we're going to have these 2 big Avengers movies coming where we're going to have mutants. And then I want to say 28, I believe, like God damn it, I can't say the word. It's like It's like the multiple T's is getting stuck on my tongue. But there's like an X-Men movie already, untitled X-Men movie already slated in the timeline.
Is that when we're gonna get adamantium versus vibranium? Has that ever happened? Anywhere?
Yeah, I think Wolverine, like Captain America's shield, used to be an adamantium vibranium alloy.
Oh,
but now it's just vibranium. But I think Wolverine couldn't cut through that shield.
Okay, gotcha. So vibranium wins.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason everybody wants it.
Yeah.
I'm running out of power, and my dog is whining.
Well, I think
we're gonna have to come back. We're gonna come back.
We'll be back.
This
Nerd
episode,
Hive.
and we'll touch on the things that we actually missed.
Yeah.
And TBJ is gonna yodel us out.
No.
Do it.
Hit it, TBJ.
Nope.
Clog? Can you clog us out? Are you wearing clogs?
Nope. Come to me for your book recommendations. You're welcome.
Wakanda Forever.
About the president no more, but evidently they don't see we in the streets still poor, still more incarceration of my kinsmen by the prisons, and people thinking this election.
The Nerd School Podcast is a product of History for Jerks and a member of the Queen City Podcast Network. Find out more about History for Jerks at historyforjerks.com.
History for Jerks, you're the jerk with the history, mother.